This is the JTV Caribbean News. I am Sean Rose. The European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control, the ECDPC, says there are reports of new cases of the chikungunya virus in the Caribbean. The ECDPC says in the past week, 293 new cases of chikungunya have been reported in the region, with confirmed ones in St. Martin, Martinique, St. Barthélemy, and Guadeloupe. New cases also surfaced in Dominica and French Guiana, as well as St. Kitts and Nevis. The ECDPC said as of February 21, 2014, more than 5,900 suspected cases have been reported in the region. Chikungunya is a mosquito-borne viral disease causing symptoms such as fever, joint pain, muscle pain, headache, and nose and gum bleeding. An outbreak of chikungunya in the Caribbean was first reported from the French part of the island of St. Martin on December 6. The St. Kitts and Nevis government has reiterated its confidence in the country's citizenship by investment program. The program, through the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation, continues to rake in more than $100 million annually. In essence, St. Kitts and Nevis passports are exchanged for investment funds that are used in major development projects in the country. St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Denzil Douglas said Bastier's CIP has become the leading program globally. He also suggested that others in the region are using the St. Kitts and Nevis model as a blueprint. Dominica's citizenship program is also now going the investment funds route, as is Antigua's newly established CIP, which sold its first passports last month. Douglas's critics, including the St. Kitts and Nevis Opposition Alliance Team Unity, described the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation as a slush fund being used by Douglas to attract continued political support for the governing Labour Party. The Prime Minister has brushed aside that allegation, claiming that it has no merit. According to Douglas, the program has, through the SIDF, been able to stabilize the economy. St. Vincent and the Grenadines has launched its e-passport, saying the document is even more secure than the machine-readable passport launched in 2005. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who as Minister of National Security is responsible for immigration matters, said since St. Vincent and the Grenadines switched to machine-readable passports in 2005, there have been no reports of tampering with the document. He said the new e-passport has more enhanced security features, tamper-proof, and a chip embedded. St. Vincent and the Grenadines was the second country in the Caribbean Community CARICOM after St. Kitts and Nevis to introduce the e-passport. The passport will be valid for 10 years for people older than 18 years and will cost $150 EC. The government said that it had a 3-year, $3.4 million US contract with a Canadian banknote to produce the e-passport. Regional carrier Seaborne Airlines has launched service between San Juan and St. Martin. St. Martin is the 19th airport Seaborne now services, part of a regional expansion for the company operating daily non-stop services. Seaborne President and CEO Gary Foss said St. Martin is yet another exciting destination in the Caribbean that Seaborne is offering to its customers as they continue to build trade and tourism links throughout the Caribbean. Seaborne also recently announced the addition of service from San Juan to Santo Domingo, which will begin April 15. That will be the company's fourth destination in the Dominican Republic. Seaborne relocated its headquarters from St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands to San Juan, a deal which included the purchase of an equity stake in the company by the government of Puerto Rico. Promising young batsmen Tagnarine Chanderpaul and Chanderpaul Hemraj have been included in the Guyana squad for their second round match against Barbados in the Regional 4-Day Championships this weekend. Chanderpaul and Hemraj replace veterans Shivnarine Chanderpaul and Ramnaresh Sawan, who have been forced out of the second round contest through injury after not participating in the opening round. Tagnarine, Shivnarine Chanderpaul's 17-year-old son, made his debut last year against the Leeward Islands and has to date scored 176 runs at an average of 22 with a highest score of 42. He was the most consistent batsman with 2 half-centuries and 1 century playing for Young West Indies in the recent Under-19 World Cup in Bangladesh. 20-year-old Hemraj, who went under his first stint at the WICB's High Performance Center last year, has played 3 first-class matches for Guyana since making his debut against Trinidad and Tobago 2 years ago, averaging 9.50 with a top score of 29. Guyana, who suffered an opening round defeat to Jamaica, plays Barbados from Friday in a day-night affair at the Guyana National Stadium. Sean Rose, JTV Caribbean News.
Coming up next on JTV News. The battle against chronic non-communicable diseases continues as a 10-year strategy prepares for management and prevention. Ongoing education reform process expected to help close the wide gap between high school and college. And Lime selects cake boss for local and talented.